Shayla's mom has walnuts and hazelnuts. Her hazelnuts are 3 times her walnuts, and in total she has 48 nuts. Then, in maximum, how many hazelnuts can Shayla ask for from her mother? Sally, who has been staring at the third question of the test, thought, I don't like mathematics. I don't want to solve any of these. Why should I care how many hazelnuts Shayla wants? I can go to the market and get hazelnuts if I want. Slowly, her eyes were closing. She was just starting to surrender to sleep. But suddenly, a bam sound was heard. Everyone in the classroom was looking at each other with eyes full of terror. The wardrobe was fallen in front of the classroom's door. The teacher, after telling the kids to be calm, tried to open the door, but it was impossible to open. While her friends were asking worried questions such as, what are we going to do now? And does that mean we won't be able to go out? Sally, on the contrary, was sitting still, not even lifting a finger. It can be even said that this turmoil was beneficial for her. After all, for her, everything was better than solving math problems. To call for help, the teacher took out her phone and called someone. Afterwards, she made an explanation to the class. I have asked for help. There is nothing to worry about. We are stuck in the classroom since the wardrobe has fallen in front of the door. Unfortunately, you won't be able to go out for a while. Instead,
Hi.
let's read books together.
Who's
You
there?
should take a book from the
I'm
library
a stranger from
and
another
start
world.
reading. I heard you crying and I want to help you. In response
No
to
one
the
can help
teacher's
me as
words,
long
the
as that
worried
wicked
murmurs
witch is
transformed
alive.
into grumps. Who on earth would want to read a
Maybe
book
we
when
can
there's
find a
playing
solution,
ball in the
but
garden?
only if you
Sally
tell me
stood
the
up
problem.
reluctantly and started to look at the books on the
Rapunzel is
shelf
my
behind her.
girlfriend.
Among the
We
dark
have been
boring
loving
books,
each other for
one book
years.
grabbed her attention with its
Unfortunately,
bright pink cover. Not paying attention to what it
she
says
has
on
an
the
evil
cover, she took the
stepmother,
book and
and
returned
she
to
locked
her seat.
Rapunzel up in a
The
very
name of the
long
book
tower.
was Rapunzel.
The tower only has one
There
entry,
was a girl
and
with
the witch
long
locks it
golden hair,
every
and
day.
a man dressed like a
Normally,
knight.
I would
Turn the first page. There was an explanation. This book is a gift from Team ARC 6014 to your school. ARC 6014 is a team who overcomes the
I would
obstacles
think.
robots they make. If you have an interest in engineering or if you want to learn how to
Dear
make a
stepmother
robot, you
left.
can contact us. As a team,
And I
we
used to
love
climb
working
her
with
air
children
to
and
the
teaching
top.
them how to make robots. Enjoy the book.
Tamam. Tamam.
After
Teşekkür
skimming
ederiz
this
Deniz.
explanation, Sally
Teşekkürler.
started to read the story.
Kapatamadım bile.
I will dive into Rapunzel's adventures now. Indeed, she really dived into Rapunzel's adventures. After reading the first paragraph, she suddenly found herself in Rapunzel's magical world. The gloomy classroom was gone. Instead, there were green grasses filled with colorful flowers and butterflies dancing with joy. Just before she pinched herself to find out if it was real or not, she realized that everything about her had changed. Now her hair was shorter and blue. She was also taller. With a backpack on her back, she was looking just like a mountain hiker. She said, "It is as if I am in a Disney movie," to herself. After realizing her time here is limited, she decided to explore around. While she was running on the pathway, weeping sounds came to her ears. "Rapunzel, I loved you so much. So will I not be able to see you again? What will I do without you, Rapunzel?" When Sally walked towards the sounds, she saw a man sitting on a rock crying. That was the knight on the book's cover. "Hi, who's there?" "I'm a stranger from another world. I heard you crying and I want to help you." "No one can help me as long as that wicked witch is alive." "Maybe we can find a solution, but only if you tell me the problem." "Rapunzel is my girlfriend. We have been loving each other for years. Unfortunately, she has an evil stepmother and she locked Rapunzel up in a very long tower. The tower only has one entry and the witch locks it every day. Normally, I would wait for her stepmother to leave the house before I go inside. Rapunzel used to let down her golden hair from the tower after her stepmother left. And I used to climb her hair to reach the tower. Her hair was so long and so beautiful. Then what happened? Today, as always, I went to my Rapunzel. When I called her to let her hair down, oh my god, her golden hair was gone. That wicked witch somehow realized that we meet. Yesterday, after she left the house, she hid behind the bushes and watched me get in the tower. When she returned in the evening, she not only beat my Rapunzel but also cut her hair so that I wouldn't be able to get into the tower again. I understand how you feel, but we should not abandon ourselves to despair. Also, we should not leave Rapunzel alone. Come on, let's go near the tower. Maybe there we can find a solution. I would love to do that as well. However, Rapunzel's mom bewitched the trail leading to the tower. In other words, it is very long and dangerous. It is impossible for us to cope with these dangers alone. Someone needs to help us. My Rapunzel is alone in the heart of all these perils. Also, since you come from another world, I don't want you to be hurt. We can't go. Hey, my friend, listen to me. You should stop crying. Maybe we can find people to help us on the trail. Who knows? Answer this question. Do you want to save Rapunzel or not? I want it a lot. Then we don't have any other option. We have to go to that tower. Come on, let's start without losing any time. You're right. Although it can be dangerous, if we want to save Rapunzel, we have to go to that tower. Let's go. That way, Sally and the knight set off their journey to save Rapunzel. In order to reach the tower, they have to pass from a forest, which is said to be full of thorn bushes and wild animals. Before entering the forest, the knight and Sally hugged each other. After reminding themselves that they can overcome all of the challenges, they stepped into this dangerous world. Guess what have they seen when they entered the forest? The forest was full of rose pink trees. These pink trees reminded Sally of the explanation she has read at the beginning of the book. Knight, do you know I was reading a pink covered book called Rapunzel before coming here. Then suddenly I found myself in the book. Actually, you're a character in the book. I thought I should help you because I have seen you on the book's cover. Thank you very much, Sally. Without you, I would not find the courage to set off this journey. Without you, my Rapunzel would be left alone in her dangerous tower forever. Don't worry, we will save her. They walked for a while, then Sally found herself in a white nothingness among the pink trees. In her mind, thoughts appeared. ARC is a club who solves problems by making robots. For a moment, her eyes shakingly widened. The knight tried to take her apart from her dreamland. The book I was reading, it was a gift from a team called ARC 6014 to our school. At the beginning of the book, it was written that this team solves the problem they face by making robots. It was also written that they would love to help us if we also wanted to learn how to make robots. The fact that this forest is rose pink reminds me of that. Do you think also we can solve the problems we face in this forest by making robots? That's a great idea. If we have a robot to help us in this journey, everything will be so much easier and we can save Rapunzel from that tower. But we need tools to make a robot. Where are we going to find them? When I came to this world, everything on me has changed. I suddenly found myself with a giant backpack. Maybe we can find some tools to help us in that bag. Just like Sally has guessed, in the bag there were a lot of things to help them. The knight, observing that, was thrilled. When they first opened the bag, they were greeted by a booklet. This booklet was describing how they can make a robot by using simple tools and highlighting the points they should be careful about. Then, they found the box containing the necessary tools to make a robot. Following the steps told in the booklet, And using the tools correctly, they finished their robots in a few hours. Now, with the help of this robot, we can overcome all of the obstacles and I can save my Rapunzel. Thank you, Sally. Don't thank to me. Thank to Team ARC6014, who gave the book as a gift to our library and enabling this idea to come to my mind. Besides, we didn't save Rapunzel yet. We have a lot of obstacles standing before us. Come on, let's continue. They started to walk, taking the robot along. It was getting dark and the fog came down. They were having difficulty in seeing around. Just then, Sally heard a scream. The knight had not seen the deep hole standing before them, both because the weather was dark and there were lots of leaves on top of the hole. The hole was full of snails and snakes. The knight shouted, "Help me! Save me!" Sally, not knowing what to do, was very anxious. The fact that the robot can help crossed her mind. Using her control panel, she sent the robot into the pit. Knight, holding the robot, started to climb with it. When he came out from the hole, his clothes were all muddy. He first cleaned himself, then turned to Sally and said, "I have told you this place is very dangerous, but at least we got over this. What would we do without the robot?" "I agree, this place is very dangerous, but don't forget we have to save Rapunzel. We have to surpass this forest. The robot will help us in this journey. Thank you, robot." After continuing for a while more, they found a safe place to spend the night. They were so exhausted that both slept immediately after sitting. Opening their eyes with the daylight, they saw red-eyed hens cooing around them. Sally, who was very frightened by the hens' eyes, wanted to start walking immediately. In this way, the second day of saving Rapunzel has started. Having a very long journey, they traveled over hill and dale. In the end, they saw an endless lake. This lake was covered with poisonous and thorny flowers. The knight asked, "Now, how are we going to pass this?" It did seem as if it was impossible for them to pass. At that point, Sally spotted an underwater cave that can provide them a way to pass the lake from underground. The idea of getting in the cave was frightening, but they did not have any other option. Therefore, even if they were anxious a bit, they got in the underwater cave. It was pitch black. They can neither see around nor each other. They started to yell, "Sally, what are we going to do now?" "I don't know. Where are you? We have to find a light." "I know, but I am very frightened." The knight started to cry out of fear. Sally, wanting to calm him, searched her bag for something that will help. Unfortunately, she did not have a torch. Just in time, a light turned on. The robot's motor was spreading light, and thanks to it, they could see each other. Everyone was relieved. Thanks to the robot's light, neither the lake filled with poisonous flowers nor the pitch-black underwater cave were obstacles anymore. They continued on their journey in the cave after thanking the robot. They were saved from the darkness of the cave, but still, there was a hard journey awaiting them. The cave was very cold and the drops dripping from the lake were frightening them. The hard stones were hurting their feet, causing them to give mandatory breaks. While they were on the point of finishing this harsh journey, they realized that the cave's exit was blocked by stones. It was impossible to exit the cave without moving these stones. The overconfident knight said, "We can lift these stones, we don't need help." However, the stones were so heavy that even though they tried to move them with all their efforts for half an hour, they couldn't manage to move even one. It was certain that they would not be able to manage this alone. Just then, as if trying to show itself, the robot's arm moved, and an idea came to Sally's mind. Of course, it was written in the booklet that if we wanted to use the most effective strength of the robot was to move objects. In fact, the booklet said that the robot executes that job in such a precision that if there was a competition for that, the robot would get an award. We can also use the robot to move these stones. To use the robot for moving the stones was a great idea, but they didn't know how to activate that feature yet. For a while, they tried to read the booklets to understand how they can use the robot. Indeed, they succeeded. While they were sitting and resting, the robot that they controlled with remote control moved the rocks one by one. After 1 hour, they were saved from the scary environment of the cave and they were standing on a path, looking to a very long meadow. They were at the end of the forest. They only had one path to left to save Rapunzel. Sally, realizing that, rejoiced and said, "We have nearly saved Rapunzel. After we cross this path, everything will be done." However, the knight replied, "Beware. Don't get your hopes too high just because we have only one path left. I have heard that the most dangerous monsters are always on this path. Many heroes failed to pass here." Still, Sally was insistent on not losing her hope. She was sure that they can overcome many challenges as long as a robot was with them. However, she did not want to argue with the knight, so rather she started to dream, looking at the wide meadows in front of her. Just then, as if something was trying to remind her that she should always be careful, Sally started to hear weird sounds coming from the forest. Sally and the knight, even maybe the robot, were frozen with the fear. A dragon came out beyond the trees. The dragon, spitting fire towards the sky, was coming towards them, and this was not a friendly action for sure. They have solved every problem they have faced until now with the help of the robot. However, it did not seem possible for a robot to deal with a dragon. The knight screamed, "Now what will we do?" "No, not when we have come to the end. We should find a way of agreeing with this dragon." The roars of the dragon were gradually approaching and they did not have a solution yet. They hid behind the closest tree. The dragon would not be able to see them. They had to find a solution in a few minutes while the dragon was searching for them. Sally was thinking, just like every other challenge, they can overcome this with the help of the robot as well. She opened the booklet containing the explanation to use the robot. The robot's abilities were listed. It can throw, carry, or build things, and it can climb. None of these would help them to fight with a huge dragon though. Do you think so? A brilliant idea came to Sally's mind. She read the sentence again. The robot can throw, carry, or build things, and it can climb. Of course, the robot can throw things. Indeed, it was a great shooter. It can shoot just to the point. If they can make the robot shoot the stones to the dragon's eyes, they could run and get into the tower while the dragon's eyesight was lost. This way, they could get rid of the dragon. Sally immediately shared her idea with the knight. Together, they collected all the stones around and gave them to the robot. At the same time, the dragon had noticed them and was running towards them. While it was running, the ground was shaking and the two were shivering with fear. Despite this, they managed to get the stones to the robot. The dragon showed its sharp teeth. While it was going to shoot its poisonous fire to Sally and the knight, it was baffled by the impact of the stone coming to its eye. The knight yelled, "You're awesome, robot!" The robot was throwing the stones consecutively and the dragon was squirming in pain. They started to run towards the tower once they were sure that the dragon won't be able to open its eyes for a long time. As they were approaching towards the end of the path, the air was getting brighter. The frightening environment of the forest was giving its place to the nightingale's chirpings, sun's gleams, and the sweet scents of the flowers. That meant that they reached to the tower. Sally said, "I guess we are here." At the moment she said that, she heard a cry. I want my knight. I am stuck in this tower. I don't have anyone to save me. God knows what does my knight do now. How sad he is. Will I not be able to be saved from my evil stepmother? That voice was, of course, Rapunzel's. The knight started to run, not even looking behind. When they came near the tower, they saw Rapunzel, looking away from her window. Rapunzel became thrilled to see them. I can't believe you passed that scary forest for me. It is a very brave deed. I love you, knight. Thanks, Sally. Thanks, Robot. They had overcome every challenge. Only thing remaining was to save Rapunzel from the tower. The evil stepmother has locked the door. Someone had to climb to the tower, get Rapunzel, and help her come down. Just as the knight was about to say that climbing to the tower was impossible, Sally started to talk. Don't worry, knight. In order to overcome the scary forest, I have read the robot's booklet so many times that I can say it from my memory. If we combine the pieces correctly, we can make the robot climb up high. Then it can take Rapunzel and come down. Everything occurred just as Sally said. The robot climbed the tower and saved Rapunzel from her wicked stepmother. Rapunzel hugged the knight while crying. It was obvious that both missed each other a lot. If the robot had emotions, even it could cry from happiness at that moment. After fulfilling their longings, the knight and Rapunzel came to thank Sally. Sally, no one rather than you would come to save me. My knight would want it a lot, but he would not be brave enough. Thank you for all your help. Also, using that robot masterfully was very impressive. I agree with Rapunzel. If you did not come, I would cry for days on that stone, and my Rapunzel would be trapped here. The idea of making a robot was brilliant. A lot of heroes were gone by the forest. It is so fortunate that you came here, Sally. After these words, Sally became very emotional, and her eyes filled with tears. Of happiness, of course. Just as she was going to hug Rapunzel and the knight to wish them happiness in their lives, she found herself in her school uniforms, a book in her hand, sitting on her desk with the sound, "Help, children!" That was her teacher. Sally was back on her daily life, but she was still dreaming about Rapunzel's world. I wish I could say goodbye to Rapunzel, the knight, and especially to the robot, thought Sally. The teacher had an announcement. Friends, Team ARC 6014 with their robot helped us to lift the wardrobe in front of our door. With their robot's remote control, they can move the things. Thanks for their charitable deed. At that moment, high school students with pink sweatshirts came inside. Not being able to hold herself while everyone was cheering, "Thanks!" and applauding, Sally screamed, "My wishes had come true!" and ran next to the team and their robot. Guessing that it would be hard to make them believe in what she had experienced, she only told them that she overcame challenges doing a robot in her dream. She said, "The dream I saw inspired me so much that I had realized I want to work in that field. Helping others by doing robots and solving problems seems so great. I want to be an engineer when I grow up. Thanks to you, I have realized that I don't have to wait till I grow up to do these things. I can create things while I am a kid as well. Now, I want to learn how to make a robot with my friends in school. Can you please help me?" This made the ARC team very happy since they really wanted to help children become involved with engineering. They promised to share their knowledge and support her. They even gave a pink t-shirt to Sally as a gift. Afterwards, ARC 6014 and Sally hanged posters saying, "Do you want to save Rapunzel by making robots? Come on, let's learn to solve problems by engineering," around the school. With the help with these posters, they reached to a lot of children and involved them in their trainings. They also invited Sally and her friends to their schools. Making robots in workshops, they participated in competitions. Legend has it that they even won a few awards. Years later, when Sally became a successful engineer, she will look back to those days, admiring how a story she read and some high school students with pink sweatshirts had changed her life.